Hello, friends, collectors, and resellers. This is Saucy, and this is my latest catch. This is a Powerbook G4 15-inch laptop. This is, I believe, revision E, which is the final rendition of the Powerbook series. This has a 1.67 gigahertz PowerPC 7447A processor. Um, the top processor at the time, I believe, was a 2.26 Pentium M. There might have been a 2.4 gigahertz Pentium M, but the main difference between a PowerPC processor and a Pentium 4 is that there is less of a pipeline on the PowerPC processor, and as there's a video where Steve Jobs explains how the two processors are doing the same task, but the PowerPC beats the more higher processor on the Pentium 4 or the Pentium M. Anywho, I've been wanting one of these for a very long time. When I was in high school, I was in a digital design class. I learned Photoshop, not really video editing, and HTML. And I learned it off an iMac, or I should say eMac at the time, old tube CRT. And around this time, PowerBooks was the laptop to get. Interesting enough is that it might either be this model or the previous though, but 9-inch nails music video only. You see this laptop, and I noticed that it is for sure this one by the ports on the side. Now, the main difference between the previous PowerBook G4 15-inch, they both have the same processors. It's just that this one has faster RAM, and they actually bump up the resolution of the screen to, I believe, 1440 to 960. So it's WGXA plus, I believe, something like that. So this just happened to come by my work, and I couldn't believe it. Was like, wow, there's a lot of PowerBooks coming by. It was pretty crazy because we don't really get PowerBooks. We get MacBooks, MacBook Pros, but usually they're all broken. A lot of people may confuse this with a MacBook Pro because they pretty much use like the same design. When the MacBook Pro came out, they just changed the port configuration. The main thing is that I believe the MacBook Pro switched to DisplayPort or Thunderbolt, whatever it's called, and yeah, Thunderbolt. DisplayPort is way different. And the PowerBooks, they have the DVI connector, so that's, and also on the other side they have the Circle Power. The MacBooks, they all have the proprietary magnet charger, which Apple decided to patent, even though all those chargers are in China and Japan by the rice cookers. Anywho, this laptop I don't really use that much. I just got it, so yeah, there's that. I do have this one over here. The screen was messed up, and there was like lines. You couldn't see like half the screen, and then I pressed on here, and it made the lines go away. So, yeah, you guys should. If you guys have that problem, then maybe you should try this out. It is also accompanied by my other PowerBook. We just happen to get we have getting a 17-inch one, so I catch that as well. As far as this thing, it just needs a battery, and it should be good to go. It's running 10.4.11, I believe. Old, yeah. My iBook G4, my 12-inch, this little guy. I love this little laptop. All I bought it for is I bought it because it was cute, and it has a pretty good sound system. I would presume the same speakers or better are on this PowerBook as well. And yeah, it has a 2 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM, the max you can get on this computer, and it has an 80 gigabyte hard drive, which is like the second best. Granted, I'm not gonna be doing anything crazy. I might get like Photoshop on here, just try it, and maybe some other PowerPC vintage era programs to run with it too. As far as web browsing goes, I wouldn't recommend it. Safari's out of date. You can download 10.4 Fox and you could use internet on here. Otherwise, you can only update to, I think, Snow Leopard, whatever version that one is, and I don't think Chrome even runs on this. So yeah, it kind of sucks. But you can there is a Debian port that you can install for PowerPC architecture computers. You have to try it, but I will clone. I'm gonna clone this one of these hard drives and then give it a shot. See if it goes good, and if all goes bad, then just put the clone or the original or the first clone to the original hard drive and call it a day. What's cool about this laptop against the other ones is that this has a backlit keyboard, and there's not been a backlit keyboard on any of these laptops for like a long time. Dell started it with the E6400s, but the ThinkPads, it took until 2012 with the T430, I believe, or X1 Carbon 2011. I'm not too familiar. Don't know my history on ThinkPads right now. But yes, this just happened to be in very good condition. Some dents and stuff as expected. This part right here on the other one is all like messed up, so I got lucky on that. Good thing, a lot of these Macs and PowerBooks, the batteries like to just swell up, so luckily this one didn't have any problems. If you're looking at collecting one of these, this particular model does have some issues. The bottom RAM slot does get bad, and it just goes out. I'm not too familiar what makes it go bad, but maybe there's not enough pressure applied to it, like the T23 and the T30. Another thing is that for this machine has like something called like it has like some weird name, but basically the machine turns itself to sleep. Something on here triggers it that it's overheating or is getting too hot, and the computer will turn off the screen, but the keyboard lights will be on. So big problem. I know some people probably will freak out when they see that. As far as me though, all I did was command S at start, create a new user, delete the old users, and I was like, bam, it was ready. Super excited, super cool. Other issues is, I think the screen, some of these get like white spots on the screen. I don't know if it has something to do with the pressure points or something on this machine, but yeah. Pricing. You know what? These PowerBooks, it's hard to like find one with the exact spec. A lot of the collectors and a lot of expensive, I'm not know about the collectors, but a lot of expensive PowerBooks is really based, non-specs is based on the condition of it, and also like if you have any extras on there. So I've seen a few PowerBooks that sold complete with box for under $300, which is not too expensive. I recently sold a MacBook Air 2007, the original with the original CTO or BTO model, for about $340 shipped. It had a box. I didn't have the original box, but I had the MacBook box with a different configuration MacBook, and the charger I had wasn't the actual charger. It was missing some documentation, but the box sells. So, but with these, I've seen there was like maybe like one or two for like 160. The titanium or the Tiebook, the titanium version of the PowerBook. The other one, I thought I have it somewhere around here, but I can't seem to find it. That one seems to be sold for more than this aluminum one. And as you know, before that, PowerBooks have always been around since the 90s. Apple it was like their name for they used the PowerBook processor, or the PowerPC processor, which was I think it was originally made by Motorola, and then I think IBM started developing or helped develop with it, and Apple went in, so they all made an alliance. The whole like Apple against IBM thing, and it doesn't really make any sense because, I mean, even though there wasn't really many PowerPC ThinkPads, and one reason why I wanted PowerPC, PowerBook was that, or I should say Mac, I guess, is that it is kind of paying homage to IBM in a sort of way, also to Motorola, but I think this processor is pretty cool. We've had a few of the PowerPC, oh no, the PowerMac G5 desktops come by, and man, they struggle on going on the internet. And I feel bad because a lot of people, when they see that, they think it's the Mac Pro with the Xeon processors, and I think those have i7s? I don't know if they do, but never the case. However, as I said, the design kind of went towards the MacBook, so some people, love it for that. The only thing is that with this version of OS X, you have to press the tab. It's not click to tap. Maybe I should have saved saying that because it might be the settings on the preferences. But everyone that I get, you have to click to instead of just tap. You have to click this click pad for it to work. Touchpad's not too big, which is great. The only thing, even though the 17-inch is pretty huge, it's not as legendary as the MacBook Pro 17-inch. So, I mean, I think on my bucket list would be getting the second gen i7 MacBook Pro 17-inch. But anywho, competition around this time was the Dell Precision M70. And also the the IBM ThinkPad T43P. The ThinkPad benefits from having an IPS FlexView display. It is 1600 by 1200, so a lot more pixel density than this. I believe these ones get 1920 by 1060, 1200. I'll check back to you on that, but this one right here has the standard display, which is kind of disappointing. As far as thinness goes, the Dell is huge, way huge, and the ThinkPad gets a bit fatter in the back, and it is longer, but compared to the Dell, it is like, geez, such a big difference. It's like an inch or two. Batteries, they cost from $18 to $25. Logic board, I wouldn't recommend buying a logic board to fix this thing up. The screen is a little bit of kind of a pain to fix. If you want, I would suggest doing just an entire lid swap to just save the headache. Opening this thing up, I haven't opened it up, even though I do need to hammer this little bump right there because it is kind of ugly. When you open it up, I think the whole keyboard and panel comes out front, but my other iBook that I have is all into pieces. This was, hey, let me just clone the hard drive, and then I didn't really kind of think about where the screws go, but it is super complicated, and for me, I don't want to mess with tinkering and figuring out all the screws on these because I've already have a problem just with the late 09 MacBooks, the unibodies, that after opening that thing up, that thing's never going to come back to life again. So I'm just going to leave this as it goes. If the hard drive dies, then I might do something about it, but for now, it's just going to stay like this. I might get a battery for it, but that depends if I'm going to use it and stuff. So, yeah. How much would I have sold this? I would maybe swap the bottom part so I could sell it for I want to say 180, but I think that's way too high. This, for me, you could get these for $50 that could or could not work. You could get these for less, of course. If they're untested all the way, I'd be iffy about paying $20 through eBay unless they know their stuff and they know what's wrong with it. Just finding parts for these, it's going to become a big money pit for everything you want to do, all the potential problems that it could come up with, and you already put $20 into it. You know, you might end up spending like $120, and you could have got that same PowerBook for about $80. Plus, it is kind of old, so the PowerPC isn't as fun as like a Pentium 4 M processor. I love my A31P and my T30. So this is gonna be in a nice spot. Just gonna sit next to the iBook. I'll probably use this every so often, but as for now, it's gonna be safe and it's cached. This is Exos or Saucy, and I'll see you guys around.